हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, बिगनर्स पॉइंट्स में आपका स्वागत है। अब हम स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं करंट अफेयर्स जो है 9 तारीख से लेकर के 11 तारीख तक की। जयशंकर टू होस्ट बिम्स्टेक काउंटर पार्ट्स फॉर रिट्रीट इन दिल्ली। External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will host his counterparts for the second BIMSTEC Foreign Ministers retreat in New Delhi on July 11-12. The retreat will provide an opportunity for the foreign ministers of BIMSTEC nations to discuss avenues to broaden and deepen cooperation in various sectors, including security, connectivity, trade and investment, and people-to-people contacts in the Bay of Bengal region and its littoral, the Ministry of External Affairs (MEA) press release said. The first edition of the BIMSTEC Foreign Ministers Retreat was held in Bangkok, Thailand on July 17 last year. The Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation BIMSTEC brings together 7 countries of South and Southeast Asia for multi-faceted cooperation: Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. Bhutan's Foreign Minister D.N. Dungil and Myanmar's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister U Than Se arrived in New Delhi on Wednesday to attend the BIMSTEC Foreign Ministers retreat. India's telecom equipment manufacturing sales cross 50,000 crore under PLI scheme. Sales of telecom equipment have surpassed the 50,000 crore milestone under the Production Linked Initiative (PLI) scheme, according to a press release by the Ministry of Communication. This accomplishment reflects the success of governmental efforts to bolster domestic manufacturing and reduce import dependence, aligned with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Within 3 years of its inception, the telecom PLI scheme has attracted an investment of rupees 3,400 crore, surpassing the 50,000 crore milestone in telecom equipment production, with exports reaching approximately 10,500 crore. Fluid COVID variants, what are they and what are they more contagious? The so-called fluid variants of SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus that cause COVID-19 have been dominant forms of the virus circulating this year globally, according to the World Health Organization. Fluid is an acronym for the locations of the mutations the variants share on the various virus spike protein. One of them, called KP3, has become the most commonly circulating variant in the United States over the past month, according to the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Prime Minister Modi joins Austrian Chancellor for dinner in Vienna. Prime Minister Narendra Modi joined dinner hosted by Austria Chancellor Karl Nehammer, where he was greeted by members of the Indian diaspora. PM Modi landed in Austria on Wednesday, where he was welcomed by Indian Ambassador to Austria Shambhu Kumaran and Austrian Foreign Minister Alexander Schallenberg. Austria's Foreign Minister Alexander Schallenberg extended a warm welcome to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and said a warm welcome to Indian PM Narendra Modi on his historic visit to Austria, marking 75 years of diplomatic relations. The partnership between our nations is based on a joint commitment to global security, stability, and prosperity. India, Russia to expand logistic links, cooperate in civil aviation security. India and Russia have reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening logistics and transportation infrastructure during the 22nd India-Russia Annual Summit. The nations are focusing on the Chennai-Vladivostok Eastern Maritime Corridor, the International North-South Transport Corridor, and the Northern Sea Route. This move aims to enhance the stability and efficiency of transport corridors across Eurasia. The statement was issued following talks between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin. It said that two sides will continue joint efforts to intensify the use of TC route in order to reduce the time and cost of cargo transportation and to promote connectivity in the Eurasian space. Ukraine will stop Putin, Biden tells NATO in forceful speech. US President Joe Biden pledged to forcefully defend Ukraine against Russia's invasion at the NATO summit in Washington on Tuesday, using the global stage to try to show allies at home and abroad that he can still lead. Biden, 81, has endured 12 days of weathering questions about his fitness for office as some of his fellow Democrats on Capitol Hill and campaign donors fear that he will lose the November 5 election after a halting debate performance on June 27. Russian Foreign Minister praises PM Modi's visit, call it successful. All bilateral issues discussed. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has praised Prime Minister Narendra Modi's recent visit to Russia, calling it a success, adding that the two leaders discussed almost each and every issue mentioned on the agenda, including cooperation in global organizations like G20, BRICS, and the UN. Sergei Lavrov mentioned Russia's support for India to become a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. Both countries discussed the international situation, our cooperation in G20, BRICS, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in the United Nations, where we support the Indian interest to become a permanent member of the Security Council like we do for Brazil and African candidates, said Lavrov. Encounter erupts in Jammu Kashmir, Doda following Kathua terror attack. An encounter broke out between security forces and terrorists in Jammu Kashmir, Doda district on Tuesday, just a day after a deadly attack in Kathua that claimed the lives of 5 soldiers. The clash in Doda comes amid heightened tensions in the region following the ambush on an army convoy in Kathua on July 8. In that incident, 5 army personnel, including a junior commissioned officer, were killed and 8 others were injured. Bilawar Additional Deputy Commissioner Vinay Khoshla said an unfortunate incident took place yesterday in which 5 soldiers died. Strict action will be taken against the terrorists responsible for this. 8 injured soldiers were brought to Bilawar Hospital, out of which the army shifted 6 Jawans to Pathankot Hospital after being provided with the best possible treatment here. PM Modi awarded with Russia's highest civilian honor. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was officially presented with Russia's highest civilian honor, the Order of Saint Andrew the Apostolic, the first called by Russia President Vladimir Putin at ceremony in St. Catherine's Hall of Moscow, Kremlin on Tuesday. Notably, the award was bestowed on PM Modi in the year 2019, but he received it physically today. It is a testimony to Russia's sincere gratitude to the sincere contribution you are making to the strengthening friendship and mutual understanding between our nations. You came up with the initiative of tuning your state with Russian regions, President Putin said while conferring the award. India-Russia agreement has provided stability to global fuel market, PM Modi. During a bilateral meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi praised the fuel agreement between India and Russia, stating it has brought stability to the global market. PM Modi emphasized the long-standing ties between the two nations, nothing that he has met with Putin 17 times in the last decade. This meeting comes amid ongoing Western sanctions on Russia due to Ukraine conflict, which began in 2022. India has continued to purchase Russian oil, citing national interest and domestic prices stability. Gautam Gambhir appointed as new head coach of India. Former India batter Gautam Gambhir has been appointed as the head coach of India's men cricket team. The Board of Control for Cricket in India (BCCI) announced on Tuesday the 2011 World Cup winning player has signed a 3-year contract, succeeding the legendary Rahul Dravid. Researchers discover new way considering immune defense. In a groundbreaking study, researchers at the University Hospital Bonn, UKB, and the University of Bonn have uncovered a new mechanism in the body's immune defense system. The findings, published in the prestigious journal EMBO Molecular Medicine, reveal that platelets play a crucial role in enhancing the inflammatory capabilities of monocytes, a type of white blood cells. Education Minister Pradhan urged state to work together to strengthen education system. Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan on Tuesday addressed a review meeting of the Department of School Education and Literacy, attended by representatives from states and union territories. Pradhan outlined a 5-year roadmap for revamping school education in India. He called for a collaborative effort between the states and the center to strengthen the education ecosystem and replicate best practice nationwide. Pradhan highlighted the emotional bond between students and their teachers and emphasized the importance of teachers' capacity building to enhance the vibrancy of the educational system. The minister also spoke on the need to boost skilling capacities to improve employability. India and UAE strengthened defense ties in 12th Joint Committee meeting. The 12th meeting of India and UAE Joint Defense Corporation Committee JDCC concluded today in Abu Dhabi, marking a significant step in bolstering defense relations between the two nations. Led by Joint Secretary Amitabh Prasad, the Indian delegation met with their UAE counterparts, headed by Brigadier General Staff Jamal Ibrahim Mohammad Amal Zaghrouki. The talks covered a wide range of topics aimed at enhancing bilateral defenses and security cooperation. Biden NATO summit, a chance to show voters allies he can still lead. US President Joe Biden welcomes the heads of NATO member states to Washington on Tuesday for an annual summit that gives the embattled Democrat and international stage to convince allies at home and abroad he can still lead. Biden 81 has vowed to press on his race against Republican Donald Trump 78 despite concern from Democrats on Capitol Hill and donors that he will lose the November 5 US election after a halting debate performance on June 27. Paris Olympics, Gagan Narang replaced Mary Kom as India's Chef D mission. 4 times Olympian and 2012 men's 10-meter air rifle bronze medalist Gagan Narang has been chosen to replace Mary Kom as India's Chef D mission for the 2024 Olympics. The Indian Olympic Association IOA confirmed on Monday. Indian Olympic Association IOA President PT Usha announced on Monday that the 41-year Narang's promotion from Deputy Chef D mission to Chef D mission was a natural decision following Mary Kom's resignations. PV Sindhu has also been confirmed as the female flag bearer for the Olympics. Hathras Stampede, SIT says organizers of Satsang responsible for mishap. A special investigation team, SIT, probing the stampede in Hathras submitted a report on Tuesday holding the organizers the Satsang responsible for inviting more people than permitted. According to sources, the report indicates that the committee responsible for organizing the religious event Satsang should be held accountable for the stampede incident. Storm barely kills 3, knocks out power for 2.7 million in Texas. Tropical storm Beryl brought howling winds and torrential rain to southeast Texas on Monday, killing at least 3 people, flooding highways, closing oil ports, canceling more than 1,300 flights, and knocking out power to more than 2.7 million homes and businesses. Barely the season's earliest Category 5 hurricane on record, weakened from a hurricane after pounding the coastal Texas town of Matagorda with dangerous storm surge and heavy rain before moving across Houston. The U.S. National Hurricane Center (NHC) said the agency said conditions could sweep tornadoes in Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. As some floods, 137 wild animals, including 6 rhinos, died in Kaziranga National Park. In the devastating Assam floods, 137 wild animals, including 6 rhinos, have died in the Assam flood at Kaziranga National Park, officials said. Meanwhile, the park authorities have managed to rescue 99 animals, including 2 rhino calves, and 2 elephant calves. Sonali Ghosh, field director of Kaziranga National Park, said that 104 hog deer, 6 rhinos, and 2 sambar died after drowning in floodwaters, while 2 hog deer died after a vehicle hit them, and 1 outer pup died due to other reasons, and 22 animals died under care. Jammu and Kashmir, 4 soldiers killed after encounter break out in Katua. 4 army soldiers have been killed and several others injured in a terrorist attack in the Majandi area of Katua in Jammu and Kashmir. An encounter between troops and terrorists is currently ongoing in the region. The area falls under the jurisdiction of the 9th Corps of the Indian Army, according of the officials. More details about the encounter are awaited as the situation develops. No doubt, NEET UG was compromised, says Supreme Court demands detail from NTA. The Supreme Court of India on Monday acknowledged that the Indian national as eligibility cum entrance test for undergraduate courses NEET UG held on Monday on May 5, 2024 was compromised by a question paper leak. The court has now directed the National Testing Agency NTA to provide information on steps taken to identify beneficiaries of the leak. A bench led by Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud along with Justice J.V. Padriwala and Manoj Mishra sought details from the NTA about the centers and cities where the leak occurred and the methods used to identify beneficiaries and dissemination channels of the leaked paper. India doubts credibility of Citigroup report on state of employment. The Indian government has strongly refuted a recent Citigroup report on the state of employment in India, calling into question its credibility and methodology. In a statement released Monday, the Ministry of Labour and Employment criticized the report for failing to consider all official data sources available in public domain. The Citigroup report, which has been widely cited in media outlets, forecasted that India would struggle to create sufficient employment opportunities even with a 7% growth rate. It is estimated that India needs to generate about 12 million jobs annually over the next decade to absorb new entrants into the labor market, but predicted the country could only create 8.9 million jobs per year at the 7% growth rate. A study identifies thousands of high-risk cancer gene variants. Scientists have made a groundbreaking discovery, identifying over 5,000 genetic variants that contribute to cancer growth. This landmark study, conducted by researchers from the Wellcome Sanger Institute, the Institute of Cancer Research, London, and the University of Cambridge, also uncovered a potential therapeutic target for treating and possibly preventing certain cancers. The research, published in Nature Genetics, focused on the BAP1 gene known as tumor defense gene. Using an innovative technique called saturation genome editing, the team analyzed all 18,108 possible DNA changes in the BAP1 gene. They found that 5,665 of these changes were harmful, disrupting the protein's productive effects against cancers of the eye, lung lining, brain, skin, and kidney. 2024 could be world's hottest year. Hottest year has June breaks records. Last month was the hottest June on record, the EU's Climate Change Monitoring Service said on Monday, counting a streak of exceptional temperatures that some scientists said puts 2024 on track to be the world's hottest record year. Every month since June 2024, 13 months in a row has ranked up as the planet's hottest since records began. Compared with the corresponding month in previous years, the European Union's Copernicus Climate Change Service C3S said in a monthly bulletin. The latest data suggests 2024 could outrank 2023 as the hottest year since records began after human-caused climate change and the El Nino natural weather phenomenon both pushed temperatures to record highs in the year so far, some scientists said. Israeli tanks storm Gaza City districts. Residents report heavy fire. Israeli forces bombarded Gaza City early on Monday, and columns of tanks advanced into the heart of the city from different directions in what the residents said was one of the heaviest attacks in the Palestinian territory since the start of the war. The Gaza Civil Emergency Service said it believed dozens of people were killed, but emergency teams were unable to reach them because of ongoing offensives in Daraj and Tufa in the east and Tal Al Hawa, Sabra, and Raimal further west. SBA research suggests center to target 4.9% fiscal deficit in 2024. As the Modi government prepares to present its first full budget of its third term, on July 23, SBA Research has recommended a focus on fiscal prudence and continued consolidation. The research arm of India's largest public sector bank suggests the government should aim for the fiscal deficit target of 4.9% for the 2024-25 financial year. The difference between total revenue and the total expenditure of governments is termed as fiscal deficit. It is an indication of the total borrowing that may be needed by the government. Biden seeks boost in Pennsylvania has calls for him to step aside Mount. An embattled US President Joe Biden faced escalating pressure from fellow Democrats worried about his candidacy on Sunday, concerned he worked to ease with campaigning stops in the battleground state of Pennsylvania. Biden 81 faces growing calls to end his re-election bid after a halting performance in a June 27 debate with Republican Donald Trump. 78 raised questions about his ability to do the job for another 4 years. He has vowed to stay in the race, dismissing calls for him to drop out as nonsense in a fundraising email on Saturday. Pre-budget consultation meetings for Union Budget 2024 concluded. The Finance Ministry concluded the pre-budget consultations for the Union Budget 2024, which began on June 19, 2024. These meetings were chaired by Union Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs Nirmala Sitharaman. A press release by the Ministry of Finance on Sunday stated that over 120 invitees from 10 stakeholder groups participated in the person consultations. Britannian prioritizing jobs in Tata Steel talks minister. Britannia's new government is prioritizing avoiding job losses in talks with Tata Steel over government backing for transition to lower carbon technologies. Business ministers Jonathan Raylands said on Sunday Tata, Britannia's biggest steel producer, started closing one of its carbon intensive blast furnaces on Thursday, while the shutdown on its other one is salted for September, resulting in the loss of up to 28,800 jobs at the Port Talbot in South Wales. The new government will need to sign the 500 million pound support package. The previous government agreed with the Tata Steel to help build a lower carbon electric arc furnace, but unions are hoping for an improvement deal with Tata, which could prevent some job losses. France votes with far right seeking power. France voted on Sunday in a parliamentary runoff elections with the far right National Rally run aren't bidding for power but likely to fall short of a majority, raising the spectre of chaotic hung parliament. A hung parliament would severely dent President Emmanuel Macron's authority and herald a prolonged period of instability and policy deadlock in the Eurozone's second biggest economy. FASEITO mandate displaying nutritional information on food labels in bold, increased font size. Hamas accepts US proposal on talks over Israeli hostages. Hamas sources says Hamas has accepted a US proposal to begin talks on releasing Israeli hostages, including soldiers and men, 16 days after the first phase of an agreement aimed at ending the Gaza war, a senior Hamas source told Reuters on Saturday. The militant Islamic group has dropped a demand that Israel first commit to a permanent ceasefire before signing the agreement and would allow negotiation to achieve that throughout the 6-week first phase, the source told Reuters on condition of anonymity because the talks are private. PM Modi dials new UK PM Keir Starmer both commit to expediting free trade agreement. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday congratulated Keir Starmer on becoming the UK Prime Minister and on the remarkable victory of the Labour Party in the general elections in a telephone conversation. The Prime Minister extended an invitation to PM Starmer for an early visit to India. Current affairs is over. Thank you very much.